what point did you kind of move from, doing these kind of things that don't scale and kind of the manual, and, even kind of being a pop-up pal yourself, to like really getting the kind of flywheel going and things kind of taking off?
Yeah, so probably like I mean, we were building technology from even before I started doing it full time, and I thought the right thing to do would be build an app. It would be like a Tinder for senior care, and you could like swipe profiles, and I just thought that was cool, and it just made sense to me. But then really building what your users want or need, I think is a critical thing that we quickly understood, and we realized that one of the reasons that I was having such trouble getting people to use Papa was I made them go through this app experience that pretty much was like Happy Path, you can't use it, which is pretty typical, I think, at least definitely at that time in a startup. Technology advanced more in the early stages now, which makes it easier and harder, I think, in a way. Um, and so we built this app, but then I realized quickly that actually people just wanted a phone number because we were actually attracting seniors themselves, oddly enough, more than the families, which we also didn't expect. But we were giving people what we thought of as like true independence. You don't have to rely on your daughter to go somewhere. You also don't have to rely on your technology skills or lack thereof. You can call us and we will be there for you. And so we actually kept our app, but for the pals. And then we kind of stopped talking about the member app and pivoted to a phone number, which would come to me. And when it came to me, I was good at convincing them, in a thoughtful way to say, oh, yeah, you should sign up for Papa, pay me $20 an hour at the time. What's funny is when we ended up getting into Y Combinator later, I was in San Francisco. We had like six people here. They were answering the phones. And like days and days and days went by where no one converted. And I'm like, what is going on? So I actually changed the phone system to send all phone calls exclusively to me, for that next 3 days. And I just like went back to the team. I'm like, I'm here on my cell phone, barely trying, and I'm closing like 20% of the people, 30% of the people that call. And the one really guy was like my really good friend. So I'd always joke, you're fired, Austin. And then every 6 weeks for 5 years later. And he now actually went and started his own company, which is pretty cool. So I think it's like using your instincts, but also thinking about like making sure you're not building the wrong thing. And it's really about solving the problem you're trying to solve, not about how you're solving it, but what you're solving. So it doesn't necessarily require AI or technology, though ultimately it does. It's actually better probably to go a little slow on these things for some elements. Definitely every marketplace is different. But later we then realized like we need this robust administrative platform, and our PAL experience is the most important. But funny enough, fast forward, we just launched our first member scheduling tool this last year. So we went 7 years with no member scheduling tool because we then needed to build out a robust technology for the call center and bring AI into that experience. And now what's interesting is about 40% of our visits are self-service, but about half of those are the PAL having access to tools that actually allow them to schedule on your behalf. But I would have never thought to build any of these things if I didn't go through these years of understanding customer feedback, and making a lot of mistakes.